All right, what's up, guys? This video is kind of going to be kind of in response of the Pat Riley's annual Pat Riley's exit interview for the 2026 season, 2025-2026 season. Um, I uh, I am typically always on Eric Spoelstra for game problems, like uh, what play he's called, what rotation that was bad, why he's not playing this player, that player. I'm usually on the basketball side of things, but guys, we have a bigger problem. And people have been trying to tell me, other Heat fans have been trying to say for years, we have a Pat Riley problem. I think it's even deeper than that. We have a Mickey Arison problem. And what I mean by that is Nick Arison, which is Mickey Arison's son, he pretty much calls the shots. Pat Riley's not really a guy that calls the shot necessarily anymore. I think Nick Arison and Andy are the main culprits of the front office. Pat Riley's just an advisor at this point, which can still be good or bad, but we have an Arison family problem. I don't think this team, and by the way, and it's going to all conclude into what I'm trying to say with Pat Riley, but this team is okay with mediocrity. They are okay with selling tickets, concessions, being at least an interesting team with a storyline during the regular season, and that's it, guys. They're not interested in winning championships, and I'm gonna tell you why. Let's date back all the way back to the Big Three era, or the beginning of the Big Three era. LeBron James and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, they teamed up on their own accord. It wasn't really Pat Riley pouring the rings on the table and trying to get LeBron to the Miami Heat. LeBron was already coming because of Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was our recruiter. Dwayne Wade's also the reason why Jimmy Butler went to the Miami Heat. You guys got to understand that Dwayne Wade was the culprit in all these acquisitions. You didn't have to pour rings on the table to, get LeBron James in on the Big Three. That's not, or influence in the joint. Like that's just extra smoke up your BS that they want to add on to the whole aesthetics of getting LeBron to the Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade was the culprit. That's my point. Now, if you guys want to argue, well, we got Shaq, that was a Pat Riley thing. I'll give you that. It took literally, that was one of the biggest trades in the 2000s. It took literally I think it was 3 to 4 different teams that were included or that did that trade. We gave up literally Lamar Odom, Eddie Jones. Like we gave up Lamar Odom, Caron Butler, a lot of guys, a lot of key pieces to go and get Shaq, an aging star, by the way. And in reality, that acquisition wasn't really going to work unless we got that 2006 Dwayne Wade. So do what you will with that information. But I will say that was the last time Pat Riley really showed how good of a GM he could be. Because if you're talking about, other than the Big Three stuff, well, let's just look outside of that, and even the Butlers thing. If we're talking about Pat Riley is this godfather, and he's able to get all these stars to the Miami Heat over the last 20 years, guys, he only got Shaq in reality. Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh were all brought over by Dwayne Wade. Guys like Ray Allen, Shane Battier, Miller, all those guys came because of what? It's because they were ring chasing. Because of the LeBron James, because of Dwayne Wade. Everything goes back to Dwayne Wade, not Pat Riley. And I'm tired of people overrating this front office like they're just so great. What have they done? What have this front office even given Eric Spoelstra as far as a competent roster for the last 10 years, 5 to 10 years? Nothing. Nothing. And if you're not what you say you are and you can't attract big free agents to the Miami Heat, like a Kevin Durant, like a Kyrie Irving, like, a Damian Lillard, if you can't attract these guys to the Heat, well, then you need to fucking, excuse my language, you need to invest in drafting. You need to invest in draft stock, draft capital. You need to invest in building your team up with young players or young stars. When I look around, guys, and I look at the guys that were the teams that were competing with us in the Big Three era in the early 2010s, I look at the Spurs. I look at the Thunder. Those are the two top teams in the West right now to this day. Why? Because they rebuild. They didn't try to, the Thunder didn't try to make it work with the Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook after so many years and tried to do the same thing over and over and expected different results. Same thing with the Spurs. Spurs lost Kawhi Leonard. They lost their up-and-coming star, and Kawhi Leonard was on the Raptors and won a championship with them. What did the Spurs do? They swallowed their pride and they rebuilt like they were supposed to. And now they have possibly... He's probably going to be he will be a top 10 player when it's all said and done in Victor Wembanyama. That could have been us, guys. That could have been us. We could have drafted with Victor Wembanyama in that time frame. What did we do? We hold on to Tyler Hero for God knows whatever reason. We hold on to these role players, these undrafted players. And we signed people like Kyle Lowry and Terry Rozier. And I'm looking at the Spurs with jealousy, and I'm just like, look at them, man. They're already back on top. They lost the game 1 to Timberwolves, but that's besides the point. Where are we right now? We're in basketball purgatory. And like I said, this all goes back to what? The Arison family. In this front office, they are not willing to do what it takes to actually build a basketball team and rebuild. If you don't want to spend money, that is fine. At least rebuild. This is one of the most dumb front offices in the NBA right now, and they're the laughingstock in the NBA because we always talk about this Heat culture, this and that. What are we doing? By the way, I didn't make a video about this because I'm more frustrated about this team's direction and its franchise directions. But Bam Adebayo, congratulations. I know this is late. This is like a couple months late, but congratulations to the 83 points, man. You made history. You passed Kobe. You're the second all-time in-game scorer. But I'm going to get to Bam Adebayo in a minute. If I'm Bam Adebayo, after listening to what Pat Riley said, in that exit interview, I'm not going anywhere. Essentially nothing's going to really change. I'm asking for a trade. I want off of this team, and I want to go to a contender, a real contender. I promise you, I'm not even joking when I say that. If I'm Bam Adebayo, get your stuff and get out of the Miami Heat. Go get a plane and go to the Thunder. Go to the Spurs. Because this team is not... Go to the Pacers. This team is not willing to do what it takes to properly build a contender, to properly build a future of young players. They're not willing to do what it takes. And me personally, I've been saying this for years. I know we can't really land stars out here because of what our front office is and who's in charge. So I would rather just rebuild. I would rather blow this up, trade Tyler Hero, trade Bam Adebayo, blow this up, and start over and properly build. But they're not going to do it. I get it. I understand. They want to try to... Because at the end of the day, this correlates to what I just said at the beginning of the video. It's all about money. You're going to want to sell your tickets to the Heat fans. They're not going to buy any tickets if you're rebuilding. If they know you're rebuilding, they're not going to buy any tickets. If they know you're trying to compete for a championship, quote unquote, air quotes, if you're trying to compete for a championship, they'll buy the tickets. This is all about money at the end of the day and capitalism. Mickey Arison, I wish we could get rid of him as an owner, but we can't. We are in the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones purgatory. It's basketball instead of football. And we're with an owner that only cares about money. He only cares about making as much money as he can off this franchise. And that's with concessions and tickets. And the illusion that we're trying to compete for a championship, so go ahead and buy these season tickets. When in reality, he's fooling you guys. You're buying these tickets. You're buying these concessions. You're buying all these jerseys and whatever, in the illusion of thinking that we're trying to compete for a championship. No, we're not. And like I said, if I'm Bam Adebayo, I'm not going to waste my time. I don't care how much money the Miami Heat tries to throw at me. I'm leaving this team, and I'm going to win the championship with a real contender. Because I know that they're not dearly trying to compete. And they're all about just raking in the money off of their consumers, which are their fans. Miami Heat fans, you're going to have to smarten up, not buy those tickets, and force this team to rebuild. It's all up to you. And I'm talking about the season holders. I'm talking about the fans that go out and buy these tickets, these concessions. It's up to you to boycott this mess, to make this team rebuild. Because as like Pat Riley said, nothing's going to change. I'm going to stay in charge. I'm going to continue to collect money, and that's what's going to happen. That's what it's going to be. And there's nothing you're going to do about it. But there is something you can do about it. Boycott this franchise. Force them to rebuild. Force them to fire Pat Riley and Andy. Force them to fire Andy. Force Nick to step down. Nick Arison. Force this fucking team to swallow their pride. Because this is ridiculous. We're going to sit here as Heat fans hoping and praying and hoping for God knows how long that this team can compete for championships. And it's not going to happen. Jimmy Butler was our last hope because he was a guy that actually believed in this franchise. But when even the writing was on the wall, when he realized at the end, they're not really trying to put any talent around me. They're just making money off of my back. They don't care about winning championships. And even when he realized that and he stopped really playing during the regular season, they weren't even willing to pay the guy at least. That's how big of a joke this is the same franchise that wouldn't even pay Dwayne Wade. Because why? Mickey Arison looks at it like this. I need a young all-star that I can pay, because at the end of the day, thinking as a businessman, I need a young guy that I can viably pay, and I need him to be good enough to be the star of the team and to get this team to at least the first round of the playoffs. And then boom, I made my money I made my money off concessions and off of the fans. Because that's what Mickey Arison always cared about, guys. You could thank Dwayne Wade for the championships we do have as a franchise, because, guys, as long as Mickey Arison's around and we don't never have another player like Dwayne Wade, this franchise is sadly, as I'm going to be honest, I don't think we're going to win a championship with this organization as long as these guys are in the lead position. And you can't really do anything about an owner that owns a team. You guys tell me what you think. This is why I haven't been making that many videos these last couple of years, because I have come into this realization that's what's really going on with this team and this franchise. And it ain't like we're the New York Knicks. It's not like we're the LA Lakers. The league's not going to sit there and force the Miami Heat to become relevant again, because we're not one of those type of franchises. We're not Boston Celtics. We're not the New York Knicks. We're not the Chicago Bulls. We're not the LA Lakers. We are just the Miami Heat. I don't think Adam Silver really cares about making his team prominent. And we have a guy that he's still making his money as the owner. And that's all that matters. He's still positive on this. So, you guys tell me what you think. Heat Life for 305 out. Let's get it.